Alright folks, what's up? Rich Van Tassel back with you, finishing up our game recaps for now week 7 of the NFL season. Hopefully the other games that are remaining go final by the time we get done with these first two that have gone final between the 4 o'clock games. The Cowboys 40-10 over the 49ers. I was wrong about this game. I thought the 49ers were going to win because the Cowboys defense was hapless, but the Cowboys are now 3-3, and 49ers drop to 0-7. Dak Prescott 16-25, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. His number's pretty good considering they didn't need much from him. Cooper Rush came in, threw one pass, or was 1 out of 2 for 2 yards. Cowboys just ran all over the 49ers today. Look at these numbers. Ezekiel Elliott, 26 of 147, 5.7 per rush, 2 touchdowns. Rod Smith, 8 of 60, longest of 25 for Elliott. Rod Smith, 8 of 61, 7.6, longest of 45. Dak Prescott, 4 of 26, 6.5. He had a touchdown. Alfred Morris, 2 of 15, 7.5. Everyone was in the plus. 43 rushes, 265 yards, 6.2 yards per rush. So let's see if the Cowboys have figured out that offensive line moving forward. Ezekiel Elliott had a 72-yard touchdown. Des Bryant, 7 receptions, 63 yards, a touchdown. Jason Witten, 4 for 54, and a touchdown. Tyrone Crawford, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Xavier Woods all recovered fumbles. The team had 5 sacks. Tyrone Crawford, Jalen Smith, David Irving, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Damian Wilson. No interceptions, no kick returns. Ryan Switzer had a punt return, but for no yards. Dan Bailey didn't attempt a field goal. He got hurt in this game. Jeff Heath had to come in and do the kicking and went 2 for 3 in the extra points. For the 49ers, C.J. Beathard, his first career start, 22 of 38, 235 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Carlos Hyde, 14 carries, 68 yards, 4.9 per rush. C.J. Beathard, 5 of 36 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Marquise Goodwin, 4 receptions, 80 yards. Pierre Garcon, 5 of 49. Trent Taylor, 5 of 39. Carlos Hyde, 4 of 20. C.J. Beathard lost 2 fumbles. He didn't have any interceptions, but lost 2 fumbles. Trent Taylor lost a fumble. Those fumbles were more on just hits. He was getting completely butchered in this game, so I'm not going to put it too much on him. One of them, the Matt Breida now, Trent Taylor, his fumble was on a punt early in the game, led to a touchdown that really kind of set the tone for the Cowboys, and Matt Breida recovered a fumble and recovered. No sacks, no interceptions. Raheem Mostert, floor kick return, 63 yards, longest of 21. Trent Taylor, 1 punt return, 10 yards. Robbie Gould, 1 for 1 in his field goals. Start with the 49ers quickly in this game. You got Beathard involved. I thought they would be much better in this game. Cowboys clearly went into their bye week and realized they better start to pick it up, and did in this game. As for the Cowboys, look, their offense is not a problem. I mean, we've seen at times the running game has not really clicked to the point you would hope for this year. But again, I think a lot of that is the fact that their running game takes time. It tries to wear teams down, and their defense has been not allowing them to do that because teams have just been going up and down. Now, is the Cowboys defense figured something out? They win against C.J. Beathard. Don't get me wrong, but they've let other pedestrian quarterbacks, Trevor Siemian and Jared Goff, do pretty well against them. Now, those have a lot more pedigree, those two, than C.J. Beathard, who was making the first career start. But you look at the Cowboys, their 3 wins, and when their defenses, I guess, played their best, and the ones that they've won because their defense have been horrible in the games they haven't won, have gone against pretty weak offensive lines. The New York Giants, the 49ers were terrible today, and the Arizona Cardinals, those are pretty bad offensive lines. So good offensive lines really seemed to give the Cowboys trouble, and they still weren't that good against the run. But they got the win, so they move on. The Los Angeles Chargers, 21-0 over the Denver Broncos. Chargers are now 3-4 after starting out 0-4. Denver drops to 3-3. Trevor Siemian, 25 of 35, 207 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. I'll tell you what, seeing as much of this game as I did, it looked a lot worse than the numbers actually appear with Trevor Siemian today. C.J. Anderson, top rusher, 10 for 44, 4.4 per rush. Trevor Siemian, 2 of 14, 7 yards per rush. Altogether, the team 19 of 69, 3.6 yards per rush. A.J. Derby, 6 receptions, 66 yards. 666 right there, not good. Benny Fowler, not good as in it's 666. The numbers are okay. Ben Fowler, the third, 5 of 45. Devontae Booker, 3 of 22. Max Garcia recovered a fumble. Trevor Siemian fumbled twice, lost one of them. A.J. Derby lost a fumble. 3 sacks. One of them came at the end of the game. Domotopeko had one. Von Miller had the other two. That came at the end of the game, where Phillip Rivers basically just sat because he wasn't going to take any chances. No interceptions. Brandon Langley, 3 kick returns, 93 yards, the longest of 61, however. Hunter Sharp, 5 punt returns for 55. That's 11 yard per average. Longest of 16, pretty good. And, of course, no field goals. For the Chargers, Phillip Rivers, 15 to 26, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Austin Eckler, 7 carries, 38 yards, 5.4 per rush. Melvin Gordon, 18 of 38. We talk a lot about Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon, who both came in that draft, got off to decent starts. Gordon has really continued to decline, while Todd Gurley's got it back together. Altogether, the team 26 of 83.1 yards per rush. Hunter Henry, 4 receptions, 73 yards. Travis Benjamin, 1 of 42. That was a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 3 of 41. Austin Eckler, 4 of 6 and 1 touchdown. Damian Square and Jatavis Brown both recovered fumbles. They had 5 sacks in this game. Chris McCain, 2. Melvin Ingram, 1. And Joey Bosa had the other 2. Joey Bosa is really living up to the hype that has come in since being a high pick last year. Of course, he had that holdout, but he's really come on. Casey Hayward, 1 interception. Travis Benjamin, 3 punt returns, 88 yards. Had a 65-yard touchdown, though, so you take that off. That is 2 of 23, which is about 11 yards per return, which really isn't bad at all. Nick Novak did not attempt any field goals. So, for the Los Angeles Chargers moving forward, look, at 3-4 now, what difference does it make if you start 0-4 and win 3 straight to be 3-4? Teams that are 3-4 make the playoffs all the time, so that's why I don't ever try to get too caught up in, well, look at the record, no 0-4 team has ever done it. Now you're 3-4. So they're really starting to come on with their defense. They need to establish the running game a bit more. I didn't rely a lot on Phillip Rivers, but I like the pass rushing of Bosa and Ingram. For the Broncos, Trevor Siemian, outside of that Dallas game where he picked apart that weak Cowboys defense, he has looked terrible at times. Like I said, the numbers, if you were watching highlights of this game, granted, he was under pressure a lot. The offensive line play needs to improve, but if you were watching this game, it looked a lot worse than 25 of 35. He didn't pass the eye test in this one. So they've got to figure that out because this division can get away from them. And fast. Seattle did get the victory over the Giants 24-7. Seattle is now 4-2. The Giants dropped 1-6. Russell Wilson, 27 of 39, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Not running the ball very well, Thomas Rawls, 11 of 36, that's 3.3 per carry. Eddie Lacy, 11 of 34, 3.1 per carry. Altogether, the team 31 of 104, 3.4 yards per rush, no touchdown. That included Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson, between the two of them, rushing 5 times for 25 yards, which gets the numbers up a bit, so they really weren't running well. Doug Baldwin, 9 receptions, 92 yards. Paul Richardson, 2 for 61 receiving. This is receiving. Jimmy Graham, 3 of 51. All those 3 had a touchdown. Amara Darba, 2 of 29. Tyler Lockett, 4 of 29. Frank Clark recovered a fumble. Thomas Rawls lost a fumble. Jaron Reed had the only sack. No interceptions. Tyler Lockett, 2 of 45. In the kick returns, 22.5 average, longest of 23. So he was consistent. 4 of 35 in the punt returns. That's 8.8 per return. Blair Walsh made his only field goal for the Giants. Eli Manning, 19 of 39, 134 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Really bad game for him. Arlen Starkwa, 9 carries, 35 yards, 3.9 per rush. Wayne Gallman, 5 of 15, 3 yards per rush. Shane Vereen, 2 of 14. Evan Ingram, 6 receptions, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Travis Rudolph, 3 of 32. Wayne Gallman, 2 of 14. Ingram had the only touchdown. That's the receiving. Landon Collins recovered a fumble. Eli Manning lost a fumble. 1 sack. It was Nate Burry. Shane Vereen, 1 kick return, 18 yards. For you fantasy football losers, that's an 18-yard per return average. Just helping you out with that. Ed Egan, 2 punt returns for no yards. Aldrick Rosas missed his only field goal. Now, starting with Seattle, I picked them to lose this game. They came out exactly as I expected this game to be. They were sluggish. They were not doing anything. They got a blocked punt they didn't do anything about. Now, the punt didn't go backwards. The punt still went past the line of scrimmage. But they had like 10 plays inside the goal line. Literally, they got 2 first downs on goal-to-go situations by penalty. They didn't punch it in. They eventually got stopped on a 4th down. It was, 7-3 Giants at half. They really came on, got a couple plays. Eli Manning had a fumble that allowed them to get forward. But Seattle did not come out well. They did not play well. They've got to figure out the running game. Their offensive line play, of course, was bad again. However, the Giants, you can get off, you can be a decent team and get off to the 0-6 start where things just get away from you. Then you have the injuries. Now, it's tough to know really what to make of this team because of the injuries, but Eli was bad in this game. Is there dissension in this team? I don't know, but this is a team that, regardless, still came into this year with, there were Super Bowl expectations. Now, I live in the New York area. Could that just been more of wishful thinking? I don't know. But a team that, with Super Bowl aspirations, I don't care how bad your record gets, you don't play this poorly. And you don't lose a game where the other team was playing as bad as Seattle did. So, I don't know. There's something beneath the surface going on there in New York. And then the Cincinnati Bengals lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati drops at 2-4. Pittsburgh is now 5-2. Andy Dalton 17-30, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Joe Mixon, the top rusher, 17-48, 6.9. Andy Dalton 3 of 8, 2.7. The team 17-71, 4.2 yards per rush. A.J. Green, 3 receptions, 41 yards. Brandon LaFell, 4 for 28. Tyler Croft, 4 of 23. LaFell and Croft had the touchdowns. Joe Mixon fumbled and recovered a fumble. No sacks, no interceptions. Alec Erickson, 3 of 61 in the kick returns, 20.3 average, longest of 31. Or of 30, that is, so you take that off, that's 2 of 31. So it certainly elevates the numbers a bit, and 20.3 and just over 20 yards per return is not that great. Alex Erickson did have a punt return of 19 yards, that's pretty good. Randy Bullock did not attempt a field goal. Ben Roethlisberger, 14-24, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Robert Golden, the personal protector, ran a fake punt and threw a 44-yard pass. It was a great call by Mike Tomlin. We'll just touch on that right now. Pittsburgh was almost certainly still going to win. Cincinnati had just gotten the stop. They were still down 2 possessions. Would have given them a chance. They would have had to score on both of their next possessions and get like a 3-and-out, but certainly they were in it. And then it was just a great call by Mike Tomlin to run the fake punt and really just end the game there for all intents and purposes. Le'Veon Bell back on track, 35 carries, 134 yards. 3.8 yards per rush is not great, but they were controlling the game for the most part and trying to run it out. So you run that many times, even at 3.8 with the lead, it's getting the job done. James Conner, 3 carries, 19 yards, 6.3 yards per rush. The team 43 of 152, 3.5 yards per rush. Now 3.5 is still maybe a little too low, as we've discussed many times. When you have a lead, you're trying to run out the clock. You can get away with about a 3.7, 3.8 on that many carries. Pittsburgh was trying to run out the clock. They didn't have that commanding lead. They still had to pass the ball at times. But for the most part, Cincinnati's offense was terrible in the second half, so the 3.5 is good enough in that situation. Antonio Brown, 4 receptions, 65 yards, 1 touchdown. Le'Veon Bell, 3 of 58. Darius Heyward-Bey, 1 of 44. He caught that punt. That punt fake. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 of 39, and a touchdown. That was receiving. 4 sacks, it felt like a lot more the way Dalton was under pressure. Bud Dupree, Cameron Hayward, Tyson Alalu, T.J. Watt. Joe Hayden, William Gay both had interceptions. Terrell Watson at 16-yard punt return, or a kick return. Antonio Brown had a 7-yard punt return. Chris Boswell 5 for 5 in his field goals. Cincinnati, their offensive line was terrible in this game. They've got to figure out, look, I know it's a tough loss for them. You were 0-3, you're at 2-4. You really had a chance with this division game. You got to try to put it behind you and just continue to climb out of this hole. You still got 10 games left. You can't let it be like the backbreaker where you were saying, okay, this is our only chance to get over it. It's a loss. You take it and move forward. You still have a shot, but they got to figure out the offensive line play. As for Pittsburgh, look, the running game was good in this game. Again, it was a game, though, where they didn't both click on the same level. Even though Le'Veon Bell was a little on the low side with the yards per carry, he played well. Antonio Brown, look, 465 is good. I know I come on here and it sounds like I'm knocking Antonio Brown. I'm not. I'm just saying you get so used to Antonio Brown having 9 catches for 130 yards. That's what you see. So that both of them really haven't clicked, or they have at times only a few games where they both clicked on the same level. wasn't necessarily here. They were both maybe a little short of what you could give. Certainly Bell was a lot better, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. And this defense played very well, but we'll have to see what they can do against a team with a better offensive line. All right, we will probably give you the recap of the Sunday night game between the Falcons and the Patriots tonight. If not, be sure to check that out tomorrow. That's when we'll give it to you, the NBA Weekly Report. We'll do on Mondays at some point. I don't know when. I'll probably try to do it early in the day, but be sure to stay tuned for that as well. And, of course, we appreciate all subscriptions as well. Have a good night, folks, and we'll see you next time.